Good afternoon, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Western Marble Arch Synagogue. Today we're actually in the smaller synagogue, the Bet Midrash, which is upstairs, because I wanted to draw some experience and some inspiration from this room. It's a beautiful Bet Midrash. It's a small one. We're going to go for a bit of a tour for a minute or so. As you can see, a number of seats on each side and our beautiful Aron Kodesh at the front. But there are these exquisite stained glass windows. So the first two I want to show you are actually here at the very back of the synagogue. And what's special about them is the fact that they are really amazing for us. On the right-hand side, probably as you can see it, there is the coat of arms of the British royal family. On the left-hand side, there is the coat of arms or the symbol of the State of Israel. And both of these are in our prayers today. For the British and the people who are here with us, we're wishing a refuah shlema, strength and good health to Princess Catherine, to Princess Kate, the Princess of Wales, who is in hospital at the moment with surgery, having had surgery yesterday, wishing her all the best and well, and also surgery for the King, King Charles III, so wishing him also a speedy recovery. And on the other side, obviously, the symbol of the land of Israel, the State of Israel. And rolled up is that Declaration of Independence at the bottom that allowed us and gave us the strength to be able to restart an extraordinary nation again in our homeland from biblical times, which we returned to after nearly 2,000 years. And just in fact, in the picture of the royal coat of arms, you can see just below Windsor Castle and the signs of the state, the signs of the royalty, of the monarchy, the orb, the scepter, and another scepter of justice. So these are windows that sit at the back of our synagogue, at the back of our Bet Midrash, and they give us a sense and the real strength of knowing that we keep these in mind at all times. A couple more things to see in this room, which I think are really giving strength at the moment to our mental health Shabbat. And one of them is in this cabinet right here. And the cabinet has in it a beautiful book. I don't know whether you can see it at all over here, the Menashe ben Israel Bible. This idea of this Bible is that it was brought over by Menashe ben Israel, who was the man who petitioned, the rabbi from Amsterdam, who petitioned for the Jews to be returned to the United Kingdom, to England after their expulsion in 1290. So in 1655, he writes a letter to Oliver Cromwell, and in response, Oliver Cromwell allows the Jews to resettle in England, and his own Tanakh, his Chumash, is here with us in this room. And finally, over here in this corner, and you'll see why we're going on a bit of a treasure hunt now, is in fact a couple of shelves which we call the Rabbi Sachs collection. Over here, collections of some of his works, his earlier books, his later books, Machazorim with his commentary, wonderful commentaries on the Torah. And again, this idea that Rabbi Sachs, who was a rabbi in this synagogue, Alav Shalom, Rabbi Sachs of blessed memory, also drew strength from this synagogue as he led the community of Western Marble Arch, as well as the British community, and ultimately the community of the Commonwealth and all of world Jewry, who are starting to really be inspired by his words. So why am I showing you all of these things? Why do we have with us, on one side, we have the coats of arms, we have Rabbi Sachs' collection, we have a Tanakh from over 350 years ago. It's because I think that, to me, is the source of good mental health. If you can surround yourself in all sorts of ways with mental health signs, in other words, things that give you strength, things that give you inspiration, I think that really, for me, is a powerful way to ensure that we have what we need at hand to give us that respark, that restart, especially if we're feeling down, especially if we're feeling completely overwhelmed, as many people are. There are lots of things to think about, and this is the Jami Mental Health Shabbat, Parashat Bo. So this is my idea for you, is to find things that are around, find things that you can draw the strength you can draw from the things that are familiar to you, the things that have wonderful associations, and they help you to find your, as it were, your north, your strength, your reassurance in times of trouble and times of difficulty. So I get the very fortunate opportunity to come in here on a daily basis to pray, and these elements can inspire me. So I'm sure you find around in your life various things you can have, whether it's at home, whether it's in the synagogue, whether it's in many places, that would inspire you as well. And just looking at them or thinking about them, a favorite piece of music, a favorite poem, a favorite quote, a favorite idea, that could help you to get through the very difficult times. The idea of the Mental Health Shabbat was in fact Parashat Bo, which is this week's Parashat and the plague of darkness. And there are a few words in the plague of darkness that describe something quite profound. There was darkness over all of Egypt for 3 days. And then subsequent to those 3 days, there were 3 days where not only could you not see, there were 3 days where you could not move. It was a sense of paralysis in every way. And that to me sparked the idea of thinking about mental health on this particular Shabbat, on this particular moment where we read about a sense of not being able to see your way through. And what it said profoundly in chapter 10, verse 23 is as follows. And no one saw his brother. In other words, you could be standing with somebody, they are telling you a challenge and a problem that they are facing, and a real deep hurt that they are feeling, and you are indifferent. You can't see them, you can't hear them. You're so far into your own space that you don't have the wherewithal or the capacity to expand your own empathy into someone else's pain. We've been feeling that a lot over the last few months, especially since October the 7th, and therefore it's important for us that we keep ourselves open to our brethren, keep ourselves open for others who may need us to hear them, may need us to be there for them. And please God, the strength of having a rejuvenated Shabbat should help us get through those elements. We're going to go into Kabbalat Shabbat itself, and then after that, we're going to conclude with prayers for our soldiers who are bravely on their borders and bravely inside many missions, trying to keep our people safe in so many ways to respond to a terrible massacre and to a sense of insecurity that we have been feeling for such a long time. Please God, they will be successful and safe. And then we will talk again about the hostages who are on their 105th day today in captivity. May they come home soon. Let's go to page 256, which will be on the screens for you now. And we'll start with Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman Meshoch Avdecha El Ratzonecha Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Ayal Yishtachaveh El Mul Hadarecha Yerav Lo Yedidotecha Minofei Tzuf V'chol Etam Hadur Na'eh Eziv Ha'olam Nafshi Cholat Avatecha Ana Narefana La Beharot La Noam Nazivachas Titchazek Betitrapeg V'hayetalna Simchat Olam Vatik Yemuna Rachamecha V'chusana Al Beinahu V'cha Ki Ze Kama Nichsafti Lirod Betiferet Uzecha Eine Chamda Libi V'chusana Ve'al Titalam Higalena Ufros Chavimi Alai Et Sukat Shelomecha Ta'ir Eretz Mikvodecha Nagila V'nismechavach Maherechov Kiva Moed V'choneinu Ki me'olam Ti-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai, ti-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Nai 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 Over the page onto 258, right here in the middle of your screen. לכו נרננה לתונה, נריה לצור ישנו, נקמה פניו בתודה, בזמירות נריה לו, כי אל גדול אדוני מלך גדול הכל אלוהים, אשר בידו מחקרי הארץ, ותועפת הרים לו, אשר לא הים הוא עשהו, יבש את ידיו יצרו בו, נשתחווה ונכרע לברך לפני אדוני עושנו, כי הוא אלינו ואנחנו אמר רצון, מריתו וצאן ידו, היום בקולות תשמעו, אל תקשו לבבכם כמריבה, כיום מסע במדבר אשר ניסוני אבותיכם וחטאוני גמרו פעולי 40 שנה כות בתור והאומר רב טועה לבבהם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי ויפי אם יבואו אל מנוחתי. Psalm 96. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו בכל הארץ נפלאותיו, כי בכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומעולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים איי, כי כל אלוהי המגמלילים ואדוני שמיים עשה, עוד בהדר לפניו ועוז תפארת במקדשו, אבו לאדוני משפחות העמים, אבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, צאו מנחה ובאו לחצרותיו, איי ישתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, חילו מפניו כל הארץ, דיברו בגויים אדוני מלך, אב תיכון תבל בתימות, ידים נמיים במישרים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו, יעלות שדי וכל אשר בו, איי אז ירננו כל הצייר לפני אדוני, כי יבל לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, בימים באמונתו, ינאי נאי 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 תינא נאי 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 תינא נאי 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 תינא נאי 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 Psalm 97, we sing 6 psalms on the eve of Shabbat, each of the psalms corresponding in a sense to one of the days of the week. And as we sing each psalm, as we go through each paragraph, we see where we can unlock ourselves from the challenges that that day might have presented. And as a result of that, the catharsis of letting go of those days. And the last week's days have not been easy. None of the last few weeks have been easy. So with each passing psalm, have a conscious sense of letting go of that day and moving forward into a quiet and refreshing and, please God, a rejuvenating Shabbat. Psalm 97. Adonai malach tagel haaretz yismechuim rabim anam v'rafel svivav tzedek mishpat nachon kiso yishlach fanav telech u'talei saviv tzarav hiu rakav tevel ratav v'tachal haaretz hararim kedonag namasum lifnei Adonai lifnei Adon kol haaretz הגידו השמיים צדקו וראו כל העמים כבודו, יבושו כל עובדי פסל המתהללים באלילים, ישתחוו לו כל אלוהים, שמע ותשמח לציון תגן בנות יהודה, למה משפטך אדוני, כי אתה אדוני עליון על כל הארץ, מאוד נעלית על כל אלוהים, אוהבי אדוני שנונה, שומר נפשות חסידיו, מיד רשעים יצילם, אור זרוע לצדיק, ולישרי לב שמחה, שמחו צדיקים באדוני, והודו לזכר קודשו. Page 262, Psalm 98. מזמור שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, כי נפלאות עשה. הושיע לו ימינו, ובוזרו הקודשו. היי הודיע אדוני ישועתו, לעיני הגויים גילה צדקתו. זכר חסדו ואמונתו, לבית ישראל ראו כל אפסי הארץ. את ישועת אלוהינו, הריעו לאדוני כל הארץ. פיצחו ורננו וזמרו, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור וכל זמרה, בחצוצרות וכל שופר. הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, ירב מים ומלואו, תבל ויוש והיבה. נערות ימחה וכף, יחד הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני כי יבער. ישפוט הארץ, ישפוט את תבל בצדק, הימי ימים במישרים. ינאי נאי 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 נאי, ינאי נאי 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 נאי, ינאי נאי 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 נאי, ינאי נאי 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 נאי, ay 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 nay 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 nay, tina nay 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 nay, na 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 nay 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 nay, tina nay 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 nay. And Psalm 99, page 262 in the middle of the page. Adonai malach yuguzovim yoshev kerubim tanu ta'aretz, Adonai b'tzion gadol, ורמו על כל העמים יודו שמך גדול ונורא הקדוש הוא. עוז מלך משפט ההב אתה כוננת משרים, משפט וצדקה ביעקב אתה עשית. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו לאדום רגליו, קדוש הוא. משה ויהרון וכהניו ושמואל וקוראי שמו, קוראים אל אדוני והוא יענם. בעמוד ענן ידבר עליהם, שמרו עדותיו וחוק נתן לעמו. אדוני אלוהינו אתה ניתם, אל נושא היית להם ונוקם על עלילותם. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. Page 264, Psalm 29. If you're watching and you wish to join in, you can stand for this psalm. We stand because it's such a tremendously uplifting psalm. The way that God relates to the nature, the way the mountains, the way the animals, everything shakes, everything jumps, everything dances. And that extraordinary sense that everything comes to a climax and says kavod, the word kavod, glory to God. מזמור לדוד, אבו לאדוני בני אלים, ויהבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז. היי אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, ישתחוו לאדוני מהדרת קודש. כל אדוני על המים אל כבוד ירים, וידוני על מים רבים. כל אדוני בכוח חיי, כל אדוני בחדר. כל אדוני שובר רזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, וירכינם כמו עגל, לבנון וסיריון, כמו בן רעבים חיי. כל אדוני חוצב להבות אש, כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל לאדוני מדבר קדש. כל אדוני חולל איילות, ויחשוף יערות, ובהיכלו כולו מרכבותיי, אדוני למה בול ישב, ישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן ויברך את עמו בשלום. תיראי די 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 ינאי די 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 ינאי די 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 היי ינאי די 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 ינאי די 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 ינאי די 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 This small psalm at the bottom is really quite beautiful. The idea of Ana B'koach, pleased by the power of your great right hand, set the nations captive nation free. I think we have to understand this in so many new ways in the last, unfortunately, 105 days. Ana B'koach, Gdulat Yamincha, we want your right hand to be strong. Tatir tzurura, from the word matir asurim. So untie the burdens, untie the tzor is a bond. Like, in other words, take off the handcuffs. Kabel rinat amcha, accept your people's prayer. Sagvenu, make us strong, purify us. Taharenu nora, please purify us for your name, God, which is revered. Hana b'koach b'koach, gedulat yamincha yamincha, tatir tzura kabel rinat amcha, sagvenu tareinu nora. נגי בודו שיפיוק חודך כבובת שמרם, ברחם תרם ורחמים צדקתך תמיד גמלה, עם חסין כתוב, קדוש ברוב טובך נהל עדתך, יחיד גל עמך פני זוכי קדושתך, שבתנו קבל ושמע צעקתנו, יודע תעלומות, ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו, לעולם ועד. Page 266. Everyone, please sing along. Lech adodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lech adodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shama v'zachor b'diburecha nishmiyanu, ela meyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad Hashem u'tiferet. Ve'alitila lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaser b'machshavat tchila lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela mikdash melech עיר מלוך חכום מצאי מתוך הפיכה רב לך שבט מיעמק הבכה והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה התנערי ויפרקו מלבשי בגדי תפארתך על יד בן ישי בית הלך מקורבה אל נפשי גאלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי ברך קומי יורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה פני שבת nekabela. For the last 4 verses, that's 2 on this page and 2 on the next page, we're going to switch to a different melody from the Hasidut, from the Hasidic dynasty of Modzitz. Modzitz, an incredible dynasty where the rabbis, the heads, the admorim, the leaders of those dynasties would write a special tune on the first night of Slichot, just a few days before Rosh Hashanah. And that tune would follow them all the way through Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, into Sukkot, and would be the new melody for that particular group of Hasidim to sing all the way through. And they were excited and always on tenterhooks as to find out what the melody would be. And this one became very famous. And it's the one for the last, associated with the last 4 paragraphs, last 4 verses of Lecha Dodi. And so in honor of the Mozhitz Chassidut, we're going to sing it now. Middle of page 268. Yam ba ba bam bam, ya ba bam bam lo teivoshi, velo tikal mi, imachat ishtochachi, o matemi, ya ba bam bam bach yechesu, ani yami, hayai venivneta, iraltila lecha dodi likrat kala. Yam baram Parashat Shabbat nekabla, ay lecha dodi likrat kala. Yam baram Parashat Shabbat nekabla. Tinina, yinina, yinina, v'hayulim shisa, v'shosayich, v'rachakul kol mevalayich. Tinina, tinina, Ayasis alayich Elohayich Kim sos chatan al kala lecha dodi likrat kala Yam baram Parashat Shabbat nekabla lecha dodi likrat kala Yam baram Parashat Shabbat nekabla Hayam bam bam ya bam bam ya minhu small Ti yifrotzi v'yet Adonai taritzi Yababam bam al yahadish Ben parzi Hayai v'nismecha v'nagila Lecha dodi likrat kala Yambaram Parashat Shabbat nekabla Hay lecha dodi likrat kala and in order to not to bring in Shabbat, the last verse of the Charodig Boy V'Shalom, because it says, "Come, my bride," there's a concern that we're bringing in Shabbat, so we're just going to hum, and we normally face the back of the synagogue, we'll face the door, and as a result of that, you'll see the Aron Kodesh behind me. Tininai, 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 ay boy V'Shalom. So we finished with Lecha Dodi, and in order to get back to into our heads how important it is to keep others in mind, we're going to end with something a little different today. We're going to end with a prayer for the Chayalim, for our soldiers, and to all those soldiers who are serving, to especially to Tzevet Ehrlich, and he knows who he is, all of those people who are looking after us, making sure that we are safe in our communities, our own displaced people, hundreds of thousands of Israelis displaced across Israel, many people suffering in the region. Please God, our soldiers should be safe. So I'm going to put up on the screen here with my trusty Ricky is going to make sure that they're up there, and we're going to see the prayers, especially for the Chayalim, for the Chayalei Tzahal, those wonderful, brave soldiers who are looking after us. May they all stay safe. Mi sheberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, ויברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ואנשי כוחות הביטחון. העומדים במשמר ארצנו וערי אלוהינו מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים מן הים הגדול עד לבוא הרבה בכל מקום שהם, ביבשה, באוויר ובים. ייתן אדוני את אויבינו הקמים עלינו ניגפים לפניהם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה וצוקה, מכל נגע ומחלה. וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם. ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם ויתריהם בחטא ישועה ותרא ניצחון. יקוים בהם הכתוב. כי אדוני אלוהיכם ההולך עמכם להילחם לכם עם אויביכם, להושיע אתכם, ונאמר אמן. And finally, the most difficult prayer of all, the one which needs all of our strength and all of our help. We have still over 130 hostages captured, unable to get home, unable to spend their Shabbat with families, with friends. In any way, we pray for their safety. We pray for their continued strength and resilience in impossible circumstances, and that they come home soon. Mi shiberach avotenu, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, יוסף, משה ואהרון, דוד ושלמה. הוא יברך וישמור וינצור את נעדרי צבא ההגנה לישראל ושבוייו, ואת כל אחינו הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, בעבור שכל הקהל הקדוש הזה מתפלל בעבורם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, ויוציאם מחושך ובצל מוות, ומוסרותיהם ינתק, ומצוקותיהם יושיעם, וישיבם מהרה לחיק משפחותיהם. May they return quickly to the bosom of their families. יודו לאדוני חסדו ונפלאותיו לבני אדם, יקוים בהם מקרא שכתוב, ופדויי אדוני ישובון, ובאו ציון ברינה, ושמחת עולם על ראשם. The glory, the happiness of the world should be on their heads. ששון ושמחה ישיגו, happiness and joy should overtake them, ונשאו יגון ואנחה, and they should throw off the mantles of challenge and sadness. ונאמר Amen. And finally, just to thank everybody who's been with us, to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. And to those who will be with us tomorrow, Maria Caulfield, the Under-Secretary Minister for Mental Health for the British government, will be with us tomorrow morning, sharing her thoughts on the challenges facing British society. We will respond with the incredible challenges and yet the incredible uplift we are seeing and the inspiration from people around the world as we grapple with the challenges of anti-Semitism, the challenges of people not giving us the validation and the inability to be able to live our lives even quietly, and therefore being targeted and being focused on and pinpointed for all the negatives. Let us draw strength from the positives, what we do for the world, what we do for each other. And please God, good mental health, good strength, optimism, and realizing these are tough times, but nevertheless, we will get through these as we have got through so many others. And in the same way as Rabbi Sachs beautifully said, it may feel like we are fighting a losing battle sometimes, but all of the victors over history are no longer here. Let us fight this battle with strength. Let us look towards good days. Let us have a Shabbat Shalom. And wishing everybody a Shabbat Shalom u'Mevorach, for myself and Ilana at Western Marble Arch Synagogue, wishing you well.